Your co-host, Santi Hernandez.
And your co-host, Annalie Reyes.
On today's show, we will have a guest, Rene Miranda, who is the professor for Presente. You can introduce yourself and tell us a little more about what Presente is about.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. My real name is Rainiero Miranda, but everybody knows me as Rene. And I'm from Colombia. I've been in this country for many years, 25 years. And I'm a psychologist, and I am contracting with Multicultural Center to run this program. I inherited, I didn't start it, but the person who was doing it before me, and I think I'm the fourth person, or third. So the person before me had to leave out of the county, and I took over the job. And I've been working in Presente ever since for about a year and a half now. So Presente is a leadership program for young people, young Latino people that are interested in self-growth and understanding about cultural issues, racial issues, issues of justice, and to learn how to develop leadership qualities to be able to make an impact on the community. Hopefully now, but if not, later. So we want to plant some seeds so young people can feel motivated to get involved. So that's what Present is about.
Thank you for introducing yourself to us, Rene. We'll be back to asking you questions about Presente in your life. Santi will first present the quote of the week.
Well, thank you, Rene, for being here. We really appreciate it. We're so excited because the three of us have been in the Presente program. So we're super excited to kind of share our experiences and have you here on the show. But before that, as you guys can see, Javier is not here, but we do miss him, Javier. It's not the same without you. So hopefully he can be back here next week. With that being said, I want to share my quote, and my quote kind of reminded me of the medicine wheel. And if you join in the program of Presente, you'll learn about what the medicine wheel is. But it reminded me basically about the circle of life. So my quote is, there is a foundation of youth. It is your mind, your talents, the creativity you bring to your life, and the lives of people you love. When you learn to tap this source, you will truly have defeated age. And this kind of talks about, the way I took it is that in life, that youth will never die because you have creative things and you have so many talents that you can still pursue even though you're passing through the circle of life. That's my quote of the week. And I hope that you guys, can see that creativity or your youth will always live throughout your life. With that being said, we're going to play a short PSA and then we'll be right back.
Most of California is experiencing drought conditions this year. Although some areas are hit harder than others, the county's water management district can restrict landscape water use in times of shortage, and yours may already have. Water restrictions apply to everyone. Pay attention to local news and visit your water management district's website to find out what water restrictions impact your area.
Welcome back, and we will start by asking Rene a little bit more about what Presente is. So, Rene, what is Presente all about?
Okay, so Presente is a leadership program for young people. I'll tell you more about what my contribution is because before me, the Presente program was designed to teach young people about the cultural forces that exist out there regarding inequality and racism, prejudice, and all these things that impact minority groups like ourselves. So that is in tune with what I do. But this is my special contribution, and those of you who've been with me know this. I'm also a psychologist. So I think in order to become a really good, effective activist, we also have to know about ourselves and what negative forces live inside ourselves, what we call the shadow. This negative force is made out of all our experiences in the past, all the traumas that we have endured and things that we have lived that are not positive and have influenced our lives. So we see life with a different lens. We have to be able to understand ourselves and to be able to put ourselves in a process of healing in order to be able to be effective out there. Because if we don't do that, then we project all the shadow inside of ourselves, we project it outside, and we make the enemy worse than it is. Okay, if somebody is a racist, we make that person even worse than that person really is. And when that happens, communication is blocked and we don't accomplish anything. We just have people insulting each other and demonizing each other, not getting anything done. So that's my special contribution to Presente. We have to know ourselves. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. I know that for me as a Presente student was a huge part to discover kind of why I am why I am the way I am. Because again, like you mentioned, the shadows. And if you join Presente, you'll learn more about that. And I just want to say, like, how can students apply or join to Presente?
Well, they can get in touch with the Multicultural Center. That's the best way if they are either heard it from a friend or somebody says, hey, you should join this program, and you make some money in the process. Call the Multicultural Center. But if not, we reach out to the schools in the area and we recruit people that way. We ask counselors and teachers, is there anybody who would be interested in this kind of a program? And they give us those referrals.
Yeah.
So that's one way we got to people that don't know about this program. But if you know and you heard about us, just call the Multicultural Center. And you provide that number, right, Santi?
Yes, we do. We'll put that in the link over in the comments so people can go check that out.
Yeah, and when...
to apply, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
To apply, it is just a very simple form that you fill in. It has some questions to see how prepared and ready you are to join this kind of a program. And you fill up the questionnaire, and you have to make sure that you are available the days that we meet, because you cannot miss, you can only miss 3 sessions basically. So you have to be, it's a commitment, you get money for it and you get credits for school, but you have to make a commitment. You have to be present. That's why it's called Presente program.
Mm-hmm. And is there a deadline for applying?
We're recruiting right now. So recruiting is active right now for anybody who's interested. Call the Multicultural Center, and so we can recruit right now. So the deadline would be, I have it here. It would be like mid of September when we start the group. September 20th, we say is the deadline. But if we are full by then we will be full. If we're full already and you're still interested, we definitely keep your name. We review your application, and we'll save your place for the next group.
Yeah, so
you will start. The next one will start in January.
January. Okay, perfect. So for those who are just listening to in the radio or Spotify, the number you should call is 415-526-2486. That is the Multicultural Center of Marin's phone number. You can just call them and say, I want to apply for the Presente program. And like Rene mentioned, you can get credits for this internship, and you're going to get paid for it. So it's super interesting because you get paid to learn. However, like Rene said, you have like three sessions that you can only miss. So it is a commitment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like how you mentioned that there's certain days that you guys will have this meeting. Do you know what days you guys are doing it?
Yeah, we're doing it Mondays and Tuesdays. We start at, we start gathering by 5. We should start by 5:30, and by 8 o'clock, or sometimes we leave a little earlier. We should be free to go home.
And so it's in person.
It's about 2 hours of being in the group together as a group. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, before the pandemic, I was in person. And I heard that Kimberly did on Zoom, right?
Yeah, I did it on Zoom last year. This year too.
So is it going to be in person?
That's our plan. Things are changing. As far as I know, we are going to keep it in person. We are going to probably, Diango is the contact person for Presente right now. And I'm sorry I don't have a solid information because things are changing very rapidly with the virus. So I'll tell you the
Totally
ladies that I
understand.
know, we are recruiting for the group, and we are going to meet in person. And most likely we would require for people to be vaccinated. Okay, the way I'm not saying this 100%, but it looks we're going to meet again. And it looks like that would be one of the requirements. So keep that in mind. That may be required for you to be vaccinated to be able to participate. If things get really bad, we're talking about numbers begin to really increase in the area, and we hear new news that the vaccine is actually getting people sick. People who are vaccinated, or that the numbers are increasing. We may just go back to Zoom. We just have not made that decision yet.
Okay.
I know a few audience members who are watching or listening from Spotify, maybe wondering how it feels to be on Zoom. So, Kimberly, I know, Santi, did you do on Zoom as
I was
well?
half. So when I started Presente, I was in person, and then the pandemic hit, and then we were via Zoom.
How did it feel being on Zoom?
I kind of liked it better. I was just like at home in bed and just had my computer out, but we had to like show our faces. I didn't really like that part.
And Santi?
I think for me, because I was in person, and then we went to Zoom, I enjoyed the in person more, because I don't know if Rene remembers, but we had a very interesting group, a variety of different backgrounds. And just being able to be with a group of people that they have different stories, and listening to their stories, you can see their emotions, with the way they're, what do you call it, with their,
Trauma?
like their physical, like how they tell their story, you can see their physical reactions to it. So I think that to me was so valuable, because you have that human connection, and then there are in the group, I had so many things I could connect to others. So that made it so special. Versus via Zoom, I got sometimes tired of like just sitting there. But here,
same. I feel like it would have been different for me to meet new people, because the people on Zoom, I didn't know any of them, and I still don't.
Yeah, because with Presente, Rene, right? It's a different group. Like it's different people from different high schools.
Yeah, it is.
It's not just one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, in person, I remember that we would have free food. I don't know if you had free food.
Oh yeah, we got free food.
So I feel like
that was good.
during that time, I feel like it was that time where you can like talk to other people, get to know them, make friends.
Yeah.
And I was in person. I started like 2 years ago, and I liked really going in person. It was 3 hours. But it was very nice to meet other people, like from different district schools. Like there was from Drake High School, San Rafael, I believe. But
Novato.
I was from
Terlinda.
Novato. But yeah, it was very unique experience, and I really liked learning different topics that I wouldn't learn personally in my high school. But that being said, do you want to give a sneak peek of what do you guys normally do in Presente in the program, Rene?
Yes, sure. Okay, well, if you recall, we have like 4 main sections, because that corresponds to the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. And in each direction, we address different area of basically human needs, tendencies, or energies, or forces in culture. It all applies. The medicine wheel, I don't know if you got that from me, but it's a magical symbol, a magical tool. And we have to be very proud, because this comes from our ancestors. This is like our pride, to have that tool for us. Please ignore the phone.
No worries.
So it's important to understand our roots and to be proud of those roots, because this is a very powerful symbol that really means wholeness. It's like embarks everything. And of course, we cannot study everything in Presente in just a few months. We would need more time, but we learn very important things. So we go into the 4 directions. We start with the south. The south is the force, the nurturing force of the universe. in human life, it represents the mother energy, the nurturing side of life. Everything they give us: air, water, nurturance, love, beauty, all those things that make us feel good and play and feel happy and celebrate. Very important for human development to feel that we have a place where we can be and be happy and be ourselves. And then from there we go to the West, which is everything about who we are inside, our psychological and emotional makeup. And in there, if you recall, we study the archetypes. The archetypes are just symbols for parts of who we are. Our ego, right, is a part of who we are. Our ancestral roots is a part of who we are. Our shadow, our traumas is a part of who we are. It is so complex. We're so rich inside. I call it the universe within. So we take a chunk of time to study that, to understand ourselves better. We go to the North, is the father energy. This is the energy about vision, about direction, about planning, about intellectual development, about study, about learning, power, freedom, all those things, that make us very unique and powerful to take care of ourselves and take care of the people that we want to protect. Okay. So that's how we call the father energy. And by the way, before I continue, father and mother energy are just symbols that signify things that we all are. So if you're a female, you have both. If you're a male, you have both. Culturally, in the past, we were only allowed to demonstrate one, to embrace one part of that. Like if you were female, you only were supposed to be very nurturing and sensitive and, taking care of the home. And the other side of you were not encouraged. And if you were male, it was the other way around. In today's world, we know that we have both energies inside of us, so we develop both, all right? And now the last one is the West, which is how we connect to the outside world. What is our role in the outside world? That's one of the main points of Presente is how do we become activists in our communities so we can bring some justice and fairness? So we learn about leadership. What does it take to be a leader? How do we address people? How do we address issues, problems of inequality, all those things? How do we get involved? That's it.
I really enjoyed that part of Presente, was learning about the father and mother energy, how we both have that. Mm-hmm. Something that society only tells you that you only have like for me as a female, it's like you only have the mother energy. But when we learned about this, Rene was like pointing out so many good things. And I was like, whoa, it's true that we both have this. And it's good that we both have the father and the mother energy. And that leadership part, I really enjoyed. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed the part where we had to go back to the beginning. And I remember Rene asking us, what traumas do you have in your life, right?
Oh, yeah.
And how that has affected you over the years and you might not even notice. And to be a good leader, the way I remember what he said that stuck to me was when Rene said, to be a good leader, it's like a tree. You need to have your roots solid. So you have to go back and really know your roots, where you come from, what has happened. And so I really appreciate that. So we have someone who commented on Facebook. Her name is Christina Garcia. She's asking, what age does the student have to be able to be in this program?
Well, the youngest student we had it in the group that Kimberly was involved. Kimberly's pretty young too. Kimberly's only 15.
Yeah.
Did you turn 16 already?
No, in September.
Okay. So we had one that was 14 years old. That's the youngest that I personally have. And I think 14, that's a good cut-off age. I think 13 will be a little too young. But 14, a mature 14.
Okay.
To the oldest one, 21, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so to Christina, who's watching, so the age range is from 14 to about 21 years old. Thank you, Rene, for clarifying that.
Now I'm going to introduce the song Unspoken Rules by Gabriel Giacopo.
Walking all the lines between what's real. I was never told how to feel. Bridges burning down beneath us now. We're not alive if we're not online. Why are we still here? Thought we were in the clear. We're not controlled by headlights or headlines. We live online, no wrong or right. This is the new age. Don't wanna play it safe, but we scrape at the walls. All these unspoken rules. I wonder what it's like living on the outside. Feels like everyone is out to get you. Silent rules pretend that they're the truth. This is the new age where we can't feel a thing.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed the song. As always, if you're a local artist who wants to have their music played on the show, please DM us at TAY Radio Marin on Instagram, on Facebook, or you can even call us at the studio, which would be awesome to get to hear you guys and get to hear what you guys are doing. So that is always an option. With that being said, we wanted to get for you guys to kind of know more about the professor, because you're going to spend quite some time with Rene. And so for those who are like, okay, I'm interested, but I want to see how the professor, how is he like? So with that being said, Rene, I personally had such an amazing experience working or being with you in the program, because again, like I said, I learned so much about leadership and how I took that everything we learned in a good way. And I really enjoyed how much you said, like in the program, was like, I can say whatever I can say, but at the end of the day, you made us question you. You were like, question me. I want you to question me, because I want you guys to do the research. So I really appreciated that. So I wanted to ask, over throughout your lifetime with moving from different locations, because you are from Colombia, like you said, and you've kind of moved to different places. What advice would you give to young adults, and what have you learned through all of that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say I feel so proud of you three, because I see you really absorbing. One of the greatest things that I have to say to you, to the young people, is do not be so easily influenced by somebody who appears smart or very educated. That may be the case, but that doesn't mean they have the truth about everything. They can be very wrong about something. They may have biases. So if you pick up a book that looks like it was written by somebody very intelligent, a very famous book, bestseller, or you have a person who's been around and everybody says, oh, he or she is brilliant. Just don't go by that and say, okay, that I should believe everything he or she says. No. Definitely listen to this person and see what they have to say, and read and study. I mean, studying is important. Don't get stuck in the also, I don't want to hear and listen to nobody, because then you're going to become a person who doesn't know about anything and cannot even think or connect things, because you don't have enough knowledge in your brain. You need knowledge in your brain. You need information, data, to be able to play with that in your brain, in your mind. But the knowledge only becomes true knowledge when it's your knowledge, when it makes sense to you, when you research. If something sounds good, just don't buy into it. Just do some research and listen to the opposite opinion, And if you're right, if something feels good, you'll find out that that's the truth after you do your research. But that's true knowledge when it becomes your knowledge, not my knowledge. Whatever I give you, it's my knowledge. It's what I know. It's what works for me. But it may not work for you, right? Mm-hmm. So here you are, taking this leadership position, reaching out to your community and having a voice. And that's beautiful. That's what I love to see. That's why I do what I do.
Thank you, Rene.
And that my experience, since you asked Sandy, I was very blessed that I wasn't stuck in one place, because I remember in places where I was, there was this tendency to say to me, believe that's the way it is, But I was fortunate enough that we moved to another location, and I would experience different people and different cultures. And I said, wait a minute, these people are not saying the same thing. So who's right?
That's so true.
And finally, one day I said, you know what? I'm not going to believe anybody anymore. I'm just going to have to do my own research and see what the truth really is. And then moving to San Francisco in the Bay Area, which is a wonderful place to learn because there's such openness and progressive ideas. And I went to school to do my doctorate. I went to a school that actually was teaching that thing that I was feeling, that truth should be within me. It's a new movement in philosophy and many areas in psychology. It's called postmodern thought, which can go to an extreme, right? Maybe a topic for another time. It can go to an extreme, but postmodern thought means all the things that we thought were basically knowledge and were established, we found out that they were not in many times. One example is that all the knowledge that we accumulated through the years were about men's thinking, all men philosophers, men psychologists. What about women? Where were the voice of women all throughout? Mm-hmm. They didn't have a voice, or they were not smart enough, or they were not educated? Of course they were. But a society did not allow or facilitate it for the voice of women to be out there as part of the knowledge making. So what we have in our hands is biased knowledge. Now that we open our society to the voices of many people, right? Then we have a better chance to really discover what is true knowledge that represents everybody, not just one group of people.
Yeah, I totally relate that free speech is an important role for everyone, especially women who are fighting for their rights. And I totally agree with what you were saying. And I really like how our environment in Presente was having that freedom of speech, where we were able to question you and ask you questions and talk about what we think about it. And I really like that environment because I was personally comfortable raising my voice, and that helped me have that habit of talking in classrooms. So if you're a shy person, it doesn't matter. Like, it's a really good program for you guys, so you guys can have like a habit to raise your voices as well. And that being said, how was your educational career has been? Like, what challenges did you face in college?
Let's see. I think, well, one of the things I experienced in my native country of Colombia was unfairness. Like, you had to know somebody to be able to get into certain schools or universities. I wanted to be a pilot. Maybe that was a good thing that I didn't get accepted into the Air Force because I wouldn't be a psychologist today. So, but I couldn't get in because I didn't have enough connections, right? We didn't have enough money. And here in the States, I discovered, for example, when I was applying to universities in psychology, that they were making a big emphasis on testing. What do we know about testing? That is very biased, that it doesn't really test people's intelligence and ability to be successful in school. The only thing it really tests is your ability to do a test, to pass a test. And it was mainly geared for the dominant culture. If you recall, the dominant culture is like the culture that has the power, not necessarily numbers, but who has the power. And as we know, white culture has the power. So these tests they were designed for people who had been in better schools, right? Who had better teachers, better environment for learning. They are the ones that were passing this test because they learned how to pass this test. They were prepared to pass this test. But other people that did not know how to pass this test, were not successful and could not be admitted in universities. That happened to me. I experienced that I was scoring low in tests and I get discouraged, like maybe I'm not smart enough, until I discovered the school where I wanted to go, which didn't care about this test. They talked to me. They said, what are you thinking? Why do you want to be a psychologist? Why do you want to serve people? Now I could talk, see? I could talk in person. I could say about what was in my mind, not to them paper, getting best answers of a multiple choice.
Yeah.
Well, you bring a very important point. I think for school, I don't know if you guys can relate to that, how tests like really didn't bring out the best of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we don't do tests at my school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They don't do any tests because they think it's pointless.
Where do you go?
We're in community.
We should go there.
Yeah. Yeah, but I personally feel like over the pandemic, there's no more SAT tests for
That's
the
right.
UC, so I feel like there's a change in
Oh, they
testing.
changed it?
Yes.
Oh.
But that being said, I really liked how we had this show with Rene, and unfortunately, we do have no more time left. But thank you, Rene, for being on the show and speaking out what you believe and helping us learn more about who we are. That being said, we hope you guys enjoy this show, and you guys will see you next week.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Renee. And it's always such a good time to be all three of us, women power, and talking about conversations like this, like mother energy, father energy, and all of that. So thank you so much, Renee. And hopefully, if you are interested, please contact the number or just DM us at Instagram or Facebook to get more information. Thank you, guys.